You're listening to a podcast powered by WOBI.
Hello and welcome to the WOBI podcast, where we uncover ideas, stories, and strategies that inspire leaders and empower companies to evolve, thrive, and make a lasting positive impact. My name is Sophia, and I'll be your host for this episode. Today, our conversation takes us to a topic that's everywhere right now, a technology that is reshaping the world as profoundly as fire, the printing press, or the internet. Of course, I'm talking about artificial intelligence. And this isn't just an opinion. According to a recent report published by the World Economic Forum earlier this January, AI and data technologies are expected to be among the top drivers of business transformation this year, reshaping productivity, decision-making, and leadership models across industries. But this may only be the beginning. To truly unlock AI's potential, many organizations are realizing that the real challenge isn't technological. It's cultural, strategic, and human. To explore this, we're joined by Randi Zuckerberg, tech entrepreneur, media executive, founder and CEO of Zuckerberg Media, and a leading voice at the intersection of technology, creativity, and leadership. And if the name rings a bell, you're right. This is a family full of talented people. Randi spoke exclusively with WOBI during the AI and Business Transformation event in Medellin, returning this year to the city, with editions in Milan and Madrid. The event brings together world-renowned AI experts to explore how this technology is reshaping organizations, leadership, and decision-making, offering practical strategies, tools, and insights to lead meaningful change through AI. To guide this conversation, I'll hand things over to my colleague Mark, who spoke with Randi about this disruptive technology. Over to you, Mark.
Hello, Randi, and thank you so much for being with us today. AI is moving incredibly fast, and many organizations feel pressure to do something with it. We're going to start with a slightly unconventional approach. Instead of diving into best practices, we'd like to flip the script and learn from the opposite first, meaning what to avoid. So, from what you've seen, what are the most common mistakes companies make in the early stages of AI integration?
I think the biggest mistake that companies make with AI integration early on is they rush right into using the technology, or they just introduce it to the company and say, here's a new productivity tool we're all using, or congratulations, we're now using AI. And I think they're missing a step before that, which is really to redefine why. Why is AI important? Are they just using it because everyone else is, and it's a flashy buzzword and you think you should? Or are you actually solving a real problem in your organization? Are you actually choosing the best and right tools to solve problems? So I usually advise companies to start with an AI mission statement and a why before diving into the actual tools and technology.
That's a really important point. For non-technical leaders especially, that can still feel intimidating. What practical advice would you give them?
It can definitely feel very overwhelming. AI is innovating so quickly. It seems like every day there's a dozen new tools. Even I'm in the tech space and I feel overwhelmed by it sometimes. I think the key as a leader is to just start trying to integrate AI into your own life in small, joyful ways. If you can see the immediate benefit and value in your own life, whether that's with parenting or a hobby or a passion you have, just some way to try out AI, I think the light bulb will start to go off on how you could really use AI inside a company in a bigger way.
It's interesting the idea you raise about starting to integrate AI in small ways into our daily lives. We often talk about AI in terms of productivity, efficiency, and business performance. But you've pointed out that there's another dimension that doesn't get enough attention. So, what's missing from the conversation?
Everyone is talking about AI, and I think a lot of the conversation is around business. It's around productivity tools, it's around marketing. I think the biggest aha moment that I had is that one of the biggest use cases for AI is actually companionship and mental health. And when you look at some of the biggest ways that people are using consumer AI chat products, it's like finding life purpose, helping with difficult conversations, using AI as processing grief, and trauma. And so, of course, we're using AI to be more productive in work, but actually we're using it in very human ways, which I think is the thing that most surprises people.
That human dimension changes how we think about skills as well. In an AI-enhanced business environment, what are the most critical skills senior executives need to develop?
I think the most critical skills that any of us need in this new world of AI is, first of all, how to see AI as a co-pilot and a partner in crime, not as a tool that's replacing us. I think in some ways the AI is freeing us up to be more creative than ever before and to be thought leaders more than ever before. But I also think, and I talk about this a lot, that the skills of the future are almost like wizards casting spells. And it's less about like what you do and how good you are at the spell casting. If you know the right phrases, if you know the right prompts, if you know how to get what you want out of the AI, magical things will happen on the other end of the wand. And so the skills of the future are not the actual like building, but it's the spell casting.
We've been talking about AI as a present reality, but its impact will be even more profound for those who are growing up with it. How do you think the relationship with AI will differ for future generations compared to those of us who adopted it later?
I'm a mom. So not only do I work in tech and advise tech companies, but I have 3 children. And so I often in the same day will have a conversation with someone who's so scared of AI, who's a little older than me. And then I'll go home to my kids who are just like using ChatGPT for everything. Like their friend, my son will be exchanging riddles back and forth with ChatGPT, like 2 friends would tell jokes to each other. And so for me, it's so interesting to be in the middle of these 2 worlds, because I do think the younger generation will think nothing of being side by side with AI in almost everything they do. I think they will listen to AI-generated music, and they will think that it's just as great as a band with humans. I think they will see AI the way that we see a calculator or like any tool that helps you do anything that you want to do better. And so it's interesting to sit in the middle of these 2 worlds for sure.
I love that. It really highlights how quickly our relationship with technology is evolving. And to wrap up the conversation, let's turn to social media, a space where you helped shape its early evolution during your time at Facebook. Looking ahead, what do you think the next big shift will be?
Such a great question about social media today. I think the social media landscape will look totally different. It looks totally different today than it did 20 years ago when I was on the front lines of it. And I think if we look forward another 20 years, probably that generation will think it's so weird that we walked around holding a screen in our hands. They'll think, you guys were so barbaric, like you were all staring at your hand all the time, because they'll probably have all the information they need in glasses or in contact lenses, and they'll get all that information in context while also being able to look at the world around them. And I think they'll probably look back on us and laugh for for all of us being like zombies staring down for hours and hours a day.
Wow, what an optimistic vision to end on. Randi, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Listening to Randi, one thing becomes very clear. AI is not just transforming how organizations operate, it's reshaping how we relate to technology, to creativity, and even to ourselves and people around us. The real challenge for leaders is not whether to adopt AI, but how to do it with intention, clarity, and a strong sense of purpose. Not chasing tools, but asking better questions. Not fearing replacement, but embracing partnership. To close, here's the question we'll leave you with. If AI is becoming a constant companion in work and in life, how can you, as a leader, ensure it amplifies what makes your organization and your people truly human? Thanks so much for listening. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And remember, This episode is just one example of the ideas, insights, and conversations you can continue exploring through the WOBI app. We'll be back soon with a new program. Until next time, goodbye.